Oh, guys, you just missed it. Nate, stop singing.
It was
Son of a
spam,
monkey's
spam,
uncle.
spam.
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with the nerds, and we've changed the setup a little bit. We're using a different mic because apparently our good Rode mic has never been used for these live chats that we do here on Saturday, and we just realized that last week. So we went out and got another Yeti that we're now using as well. So hopefully the sound will be coming in much better than it has in the past.
And he's chained over there in the corner.
The Yeti. I always wonder why our live chats on Saturday sounded so tinny compared to like the other stuff we did, and now we know.
And it was apparently the boom mic that we've been using is not as good as a Yeti.
No, it's as good as a Yeti, but it doesn't. Our setup for using our new camera, the camera we've been using, wasn't pulling the audio from the Rode mic into the Google Hangout.
Yeah, it didn't like to talk. The microphone did not like to talk to the camera and then to the computer.
Yeah.
Hangout.
Well, yeah, because we use the camera we use to film our videos with for the Hangouts. We have to use a special program that tricks the camera into thinking and the computer into thinking that it's a webcam. So technology.
So what do we have to talk about today, guys? You guys have any questions for us?
We had a bunch of stuff going on. I mean, you had your game like in the live play section down in the description below. There's like 5 different games you guys can pick and choose from, whether you want Marvel superheroes or a different flavor of D&D.
Yeah, and my game last night, that did not go the way I was expecting. We didn't even finish the material.
Oh no!
Yeah. By 10 o'clock.
Did you kill them all?
No, but it was a close thing, and like I wasn't holding back, but there was times where just the dice all around were just completely sucking.
So did you guys play to some kind of conclusion, or did you guys just call it?
We played to a teaser, and we're gonna come back in 2 weeks and finish up that material before we move on to the next segment.
Now, did the players all use their characters from before?
No, because the way the material is, it's not always like a logical progression. So last session it was 4th level characters. With this one, they were supposed to be 3rd. So like unless you did it as a flashback.
Dude, I totally would have done that.
So I decided, like, guys, make what you want, and we'll go from here. And maybe I should talk to Chris and try to see like if we can plan out if there's a progression we can kind of keep the same characters moving. I think that would be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But the guys, at least in the game, are kind of digging the one-shot element so that they can keep trying new characters out that they want to play.
So Adam Foisey just asked a question, and I think it was, yes. So he wanted to know if there's a schedule of your guest live streams on the website. So in the email I sent out last week, and I did actually list the guests we had previously, as well as the ones coming up, because I knew people probably would want to tune in for the Mike Mearls thing. So I definitely wanted to get that out there. So I put it in the newsletter so that you guys could find it. We haven't. I try to schedule 1 or 2 weeks out, but sometimes I end up with blanks, and I have to, I find guests last minute or whatever. So I don't always have it like filled out for the week. Like this week I do. Next week is looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, it sounds like strenuous planning to be able to also put something on our website that says, oh yeah, 2 weeks out, this is everybody that's showing up.
Yeah, like you might be able to get like the week ahead of time.
So if maybe we can talk off camera and try to figure out if maybe that's going to be part of the newsletter. If we add in who's on the show.
Yeah, and in this way, it's kind of like it goes right to your inbox, and you have it there. We did start incorporating, and I should say Doug started incorporating the Kickstarter RPGs into the website, and he's kind of doing
Kickstarter corner.
Yeah, the Kickstarter corner over there, so you guys can see what's going on. We have a bunch of them, in the description today, as we always do. Ted goes out and finds them.
Yeah, there's a couple things that we're gonna wind up talking about, as things progress. But I love Kickstarter. I unfortunately, it's like a stab in the stomach at the moment because I'm on a spending hiatus, So having to do this research and see what's out there and not be allowed to purchase things, it hurts.
Your shelves will like it. They won't have to groan under the weight of new things.
Yeah, it's true.
The shelves like things.
Cobb Constance. I'm waiting for the next Ted's game video. Well, there's another one up, unless you're talking about the third one, or unless you're talking about the in-person live gameplays that go up.
I ran a game last night. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're talking about the Griffin guy.
Yeah, if you're talking about that game, our next session is next weekend, I think.
Yeah, but we're probably behind like 1 or 2 sessions putting them up. So there's that. Nate did his game. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I ran my Hold of the Moradines, which is my pay-to-play game, and I ran that and I recorded it rather than put it live because I wanted to be able to adjust things and kind of like be able to edit things where I wanted to. And I just put up the first part of that 6 a.m. this morning, and the second part is going to go and be up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So.
Commodore, I guess this kind of like dovetails to the videos we put up last week, right? And he asked, is the Critical Role campaign more sandboxy than set straight path? It's not an adventure. It's a campaign setting.
Exactly.
So by their nature, they're sandboxes that you put the threats in and the adventures in. Yeah, we did Revenite's Friday that we released that. We shot that last week. We were not impressed with the Revenite Dragonborn.
But we're going to do the class archetypes. We're actually filming that later this afternoon. And I read through those last night, and I was enjoying them.
Yeah, they're much better. They're decent. And with that, we're not like doing a full review like we've done with some things. We're just going to just like highlight different things that we like, things that we'll probably be cherry picking and stealing for our game. Like we'll probably barely touch on any of the actual campaign stuff because we're more interested in like the stuff we can steal and insert into our games.
But it's just like all those adventure paths that are over there. Like
we collect for collecting's sake.
So Andrew Oren says, hate. I think it's supposed to say Nate.
Oh.
Thanks to you, I now hate methods. Oh, you're gonna hate him more.
Excellent.
So how did the game go that you ran?
Oh, it went really well. I got in all the material I had wanted to, which was just different for me because normally I overrun my time slot that I usually try, which is why I was commiserating with you earlier. I was like, oh yeah, Ted, I totally identify with having too much material for what's supposed to happen in an event. But it was nice. It rounded out about 3.5 hours or so, and I was satisfied because it was a good amount of like fun and goofing off, but also like serious points, and they're all a great bunch of RPers. So
great,
I'm enjoying it so far.
My game last night, the RPG crate material, comes in 3 pages, and it's supposed to be like each page is supposed to be about an hour's worth of content, and the players that I keep getting in these games, like they know my style, and they prefer more RP to combat, so they're going to find RP in some way, shape, or form, whether it's there or not.
They'll just make it up.
And I'm never going to back away from that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be like, oh, let's force combat, just to have it. So Chris at RPG Crate, he digs my style, so he's like, love what you're doing with it. But we got to 10 o'clock last night, and like we were still on the first page.
Oh wow! Not you had 3 pages, and you're on part 1.
So like literally, I'm like, okay, guys, how do we want to progress this? Do we want to pause here and go to a session 2? Do we want to go on for a little while longer? And so. There's a handful of comments, including, Chris from RPG Crate and, staff editor Doug is like, go, push through, marathon.
2 in the morning, you'll be fine.
I'm like, I got to get up at 6. I got a lot to do. So we pushed.
Stop listening out, Nerdarchy Ted.
No, there was some of that too. So I pushed on until about 11, and we got through most of the second page. And it's like, okay, we're going to leave this in this little cliffhanger moment. What happened with this? What happened with this? What happened with this? And then once we went off the air, then I talked to the guys, and we set up. The next game is going to be November 4th. We'll continue with the same characters, right at that moment, and we'll finish off that material, and then we'll still be able to have time later in the month to actually do, the regular session. So it was kind of a spur of the moment thing, but these guys, their dice rolling was just not good, and like I wasn't rolling spectacular.
Damn it, guys! Ted can't see. Just cheat.
So like literally my first 7 rolls, I didn't get above a 9. And
damn it, Ted! They can't see your rolls. Just cheat.
So it's a lot of.
So out of the 4 players at the table, their ACs ranged from 12 to 16, and it was pretty easy to hit them even with, the low rolls. But then once we got to like mid game, we just started having combats where like, all right, this guy, Mike Fraginator wound up. He rolled 2 1s for his attacks, used inspiration to reroll one of them, and got a 2. He's like, what the heck?
It happens.
So we had to figure out how we were going to get through this, and there was a little bit of NPC on NPC combat that was happening, and some things I actually wound up rolling, other things I just like, well, this is happening in the background.
Nothing like that hot NPC on NPC action in Ted's games.
Especially when you don't roll for it, you just say what happens. Narrate.
No, I was trying to streamline the process, and they're fighting these things. And I'm just like, all right, we need to get through this to move on to the next thing, and they can't kill it.
They're not to kill it. They won't die. Why won't it die?
Poor Jake. He spends so much time unconscious. Doesn't matter what what he's playing.
It's like a superpower. So Cobb, big fan of Kurt's Bard and Nate's character, and Gary, of course. Sadly enough, Gary won't be. He had to bow out of that game. He's taking a hiatus from D&D for a while, so you guys won't be seeing him in any videos anytime soon over on Nerdarchy. I think he's still shooting some videos on his channel, but he isn't really talking about D&D at all.
Right.
So that he's got some other stuff going on there. He's doing like movie reviews. He did some stuff on Starfinder. Not sure what else he's got going on. So he's taking a hiatus. Elfbait, I'd really love to see some videos talking about the logistics and mechanics of online gaming. We've done a few of those now, though they don't do very well when we do them, and kind of like we use that as a gauge as to like if we're going to revisit topics, because if people aren't watching them, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to continue beating that dead horse. But there's always the chance that maybe we'll do something. If you come up with an interesting idea, we can definitely take a look at it.
As always, the best way to send us suggestions is via email. We have a subfolder that we keep all that stuff in that we can always go back and revisit.
Adam Foisey has a question. Is anyone doing a Halloween one-shot next weekend?
Yeah. Oh, that's one of our announcements. So me and Nate are going down to Virginia to play in and run a D&D game, 5e D&D game for Think Geek. So we're gonna have some people from Think Geek. We're gonna have Seth Glasky from Eye of the Beholder, Art of D&D. We're going to get to hang out with John Cincinnati, but I think he's flying out that night, so he won't be in the game. But some of the Think Geek people will. So I'm running basically a Vampire's Ball. So we'll see. That should be fun. And you guys will be able to watch that either on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all the Think Geek sites. They're going to be streaming it. So it seemed redundant for us to stream it as well. So you guys can tune in and watch it that way. I mean, we'll share out links and all that good stuff. So, that would be our Halloween, our Halloween style game.
And we'll make sure that we put that, put that in our weekly wrap or our Q&A. The link down below. We'll put that in the game section.
Yeah. In the following week. Yeah, absolutely. Well, in a couple of days from then, after it happens. Yeah, but that's going to be going down Friday night. So that should be a lot of fun. So, question: can a familiar role stabilize a dying PC? Came up in Nerdarchy game last night. Interesting circumstance. So, what kind of familiar was it?
An imp.
An imp? Oh, I would say an imp could pull out the paddles. But Woody is the real question.
that was the thing. So I gave the character. I'm like, all right, give me the sales pitch of why your imp would do it. And
why doesn't he just put a pillow over your face and wait for that sweet soul to bring back to his master?
So like that was my thought pattern of like, okay, well, the whole idea is the warlock, the soul is theirs. So why does he want you alive? So he gave some convincing arguments, and I gave him a role. You know.
I would say anything that
I'm just thinking about what the argument is. It's like, I have blackmail material on him. If anything happens to me, it's going to automatically go out.
I really don't think you can blackmail an imp. Like,
there's nothing.
Insurance policy against the imp.
I'm an imp. I have no dignity.
Unless it's like he's really a good person and he tries to rescue souls. Like, that's the kind of blackmail you'd have on an imp.
Well, I would think the imp would kind of have an agreement where he would further the contract with the warlock, or his master, whenever possible. So that could just be a simple thing, like, oh yeah, I'll do XYZ for you.
But we have an addendum.
But you know what happens? That puts the fee up one more time. You go one more, down one more rung on the ladder.
Kyle Ellis asks, Sky Pirate or Water Pirate? Pick.
Sky Pirate.
Sky Pirate.
Yeah, Sky Pirate.
Yeah,
fuck the water.
Airships are awesome.
So I don't know. Did you guys catch that Mike Mearls interview or hangout, whatever you want to call it? I don't know. I don't like the word interview.
I did.
It feels like when you say interview, it feels like you like journalism and you have someone professional doing stuff. I just hang out and like I judge. Yeah. I judge how good an interview or a hangout is on whether or not I could have left for lunch and came back and everything was just running smoothly. Mike was great. He just talk. We answered like 6 questions, I think, from the chat. But like that's the thing. Like he doesn't give short answers. He goes in depth and he talks about stuff. And he's an interesting guy to talk to. So it was really good. So you guys, if you did not catch it live, you could definitely. It's up on the channel. You can definitely check it out.
So speaking of Mearls and D&D and whatnot, have you guys seen the table of content pictures being shared around Facebook?
I did.
Yeah, as intriguing. And somebody was saying something about feats, and I didn't see any feat section.
Racial feats there was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to make it in or not. It's funny too. Like when talking to Mike, he's like, well, if it got a 70% approval rating or better, like everything was about the percentages.
Oh, whether or not it made it in?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean,
that's how they
sense.
decide, yeah.
Because there's, especially when you have more ideas than you could fit in a book, you might as well get consensus on what they actually want.
So I guess I'll go into the Kickstarter stuff, not the Kickstarter stuff, the live chat stuff, and see who we had on last week. So this past week we had wait a minute, no, we must go to the right week. We had Ivan Van Norman on Monday. He was a great get. If you want to know about horror games and survivalist games, like he's your guy.
Now we met Ivan when we went out to California, right?
We did. I'd actually seen him before that briefly. He appeared on the Satine stream because it was like the morning after her birthday party, and like the red solo cups were everywhere. There's a couple stragglers left, and he was one of them.
Okay.
This one was a little bit disappointing, not in the guests, but in tech issues. And we had Drinks and Dragons on. They're local guys that started up this like tavern pub gaming night. They do it twice a month here in Philadelphia. And actually, they reached out to me. He said after they came on, two more bars reached out to them about doing it. So it's kind of cool. So they do it like on Wednesday nights, and even heard the rumor that they might be putting together a guide on how to do it yourself if you're interested. So when they get closer, I want to have them on, but we're going to have to discuss tech and how we can make that better, because they're using Wi-Fi at one of the bars where they kind of have these things, and it was a little spotty. Then in addition to that, they had 3 of them on a laptop at once, no headphones.
Yeah.
So
In a bar. Yeah, that's right.
nah, it was during the day, so it wasn't too bad. Could have been better. We had Rob Toohey on. He is a big part of the Fantasy Grounds community. On the virtual tabletop Fantasy Grounds. He also does a lot of stuff in DM's Guild, and mostly he puts together like adventures and stuff for Fantasy Grounds. So he's one of the contributors over there, and he streams a lot. He streams like 6 days a week. He used to be a stand-up comedian, almost died, got a new liver, and now does D&D all the time. Cool guy. He was a good get. Mike Mearls, obviously we talked about that one, and he was awesome. That went by so fast. And some people are like, I don't really believe it was actually an hour. And then on Friday, we had Lou and Roan. Honestly, I had no idea who these guys are when I brought them on. But BJ Hennessy from Lone Wolf Studios, she's also has her own company, Adventure Playground, does a ton of stuff. Asked, hey, do you do stuff other than 5e? I'm like, yeah. So I knew these guys were going to be cool when BJ said, hey, you should have these guys on your show. And then I did a little research, and they're doing Grimmer Space, which is a Starfinder Kickstarter that's going to be coming up. And they've done some other things as well. But that it was announced on the show Friday that Wesley Snipes is actually going to be doing some writing on Grimmer Space. And he's actually apparently a gamer, which was pretty cool. And I didn't know that. And not only that, he also had, I was also looking at it too, he also has a urban fantasy novel out that he has written as well. I'm probably going to go download that on Audible and check that out as well.
I did not know any of that. It's interesting.
Yeah. So we got to break some news on that. And as more information gets released about it, we'll definitely be on top of that and get that out there as well.
Yeah, that prompted the conversation that Dave and I had earlier today, that now we want to get, Wesley Snipes, Vin Diesel, and The Rock in on a single game.
Yeah, that would be friggin' amazing. So next week we have Christopher Helton on. I want to get his name right, from N World. He's a columnist over there, so that should be cool. Then we got Tuesday we have Satine Phoenix.
Great.
Wednesday we have Rudy Rutenberg. Thursday is Olga. She did the awesome art for Save Her Dice. She did all of her portraits. Did an amazing job.
And then Friday is me.
And then Friday is going to be Ted with the Fantasy Grounds College folks. So this is something that's completely, Ted doesn't even know. He's like, oh.
I'm like, Friday. I just know that I'm in. I'm happy that there's guests because I was worried.
What am I going to be doing? No, we actually have guests, and Fantasy Grounds College, they're not connected to Fantasy Grounds, but they really just enjoy the product and the virtual tabletop. So they put together all these courses, and apparently it's going to be a bunch of people on with you, and it's supposed to be a real diverse group. So that's going to be interesting. So they're gamers, they're techies. So you should be able to get a lot of good information, especially if you wanted to know more about Fantasy Grounds. That's going to be a good one to sit in on and ask your questions.
There you go.
So we've got some busy stuff up, and the following week I just have like a couple of days still to fill in. I know Chris from Nord Games is going to be on. They've got a Kickstarter. They've already blown past their first stretch goal. They're at double their initial goal. That's going on. That's also in the description, as well as one of those links. And it is they're using like Magic Wizard plaster or something to sculpt terrain. That's it, terrain.
Cool.
So it's like some kind of like village thing is the first one.
So if we're talking Kickstarters, do we want to get into the box that's hidden behind here?
You know my do.
You know my do. All right. So if you jump down in the description below, and one of the many things that's out there, there's a link to GnomeWorks wooden dice boxes. And
so they come in different colors.
They come in different colors, different sizes. You can get all the details on the page. It's currently going.
They're magnetically sealed.
These ones are really cool because if you look, it actually has Nerdarchy on it, and we're giving one of these away in one of our videos next week. You're gonna have to figure out which one it is, but we're going to have the details for that contest in that video in the description there will be a link for you to sign up, and it'll have all the details on it. So this is like the ultimate box here, right? And what it is a traveling dice tray, right?
So this is where you put your dice and or your minis. This one happens to hold four full poly sets.
There's a spell tracker.
As Dave says, you got the dice tray. You got a spell tracker, a hit point tracker, a spot for recording your death saves.
Yes, there's a smiley face and an unsmiley face. So it's pretty cool. I like it. It's sweet. It's all wood. Looks nice.
And as Dave says, these boxes are a limited edition because they're they've got Nerdarchy on them. So this awesome box here will go to one of our lucky fans. Doug wants to know the mystery. Maybe they'll reveal the mystery of the plastic stick.
Nope.
Nope.
It's a wand. It's secretly a Harry Potter wand.
You'll have to figure out what it's used for. I'm concealing what I'm doing with it.
It's not the magic wand from Bright, is it?
I don't think so. But it's cool because it just magnetically seals back together, so you can slot it back together, and bam. Except I did it upside down.
Oh, no, you're fine.
There we go.
But you can. That's not going to cut. Not
going. Yeah, they're not coming apart. Yeah. They're actually kind of hard to pull apart.
Well, that's why I think it's way easier if you use your thumb to slide it rather than pry it apart.
That's why Nate is the brains of the operation.
I know how to open boxes.
I'm like, just trying to hulk it apart, and Nate takes his pinky. He's like,
So thank you to the awesome people at GnomeWorks for sending these over to us, and
one of them can be yours, especially the special Nerdarchy edition.
The special Nerdarchy edition.
Only what? We'll have one, and then whoever wins it will have the Nerdarchy edition one.
Yes.
Yep. And you'll get yours before the campaign is, I think, even over, let alone waiting for them to actually be made and mailed out.
Da, da, da.
But only one.
There is only one beside ours. So Sparkus Clark says,
and the Kickstarter is already kicked. So if you guys are interested in that, it was 5,000, and they've already pledged 53. So you're good. Same thing with, like I said, same thing with the Nord one too. You know you're going to get your stuff.
That's always nice with the Kickstarters when you know it's already happening. So Sparkus Clark says, thanks for the DM Madness advice. I believe that was a GM tip of a GM 911. Right?
Yeah, was that the one? I don't know. Somebody did that one.
Drop the mechanic stuff that he put in before. It was really getting really.
Oh yeah, it was me and you. You did that one. I was like,
yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
I'm like, it had to be you guys while I was.
I know we do thousands of videos, but it was recent. So he kept the fun backgrounds that / secret PC stuff, and he'd have him draw from the Taroka deck. So
nice.
I think that's a good compromise between how much you wanted to do and.
Well, yeah, like the biggest thing for that was it's like once you say you're getting stressed out about doing it, then to me you're like you're no longer having fun, and you need to shift gears and find where it is fun for you.
And sometimes you just need to dial back the amount of prep you're doing.
So we crossed that halfway mark. Do we want to do that time?
Yeah, I guess we can do. I totally skipped it during the Mike Mearls thing. I was I only have Mearls for so long.
Yeah. There's some times that it's not really, conducive. Like you want to get every drop, every second out of, awesome guests that you can. Not to dissuade any of you guys out there from, wanting to share, or that any of the guests we've had on aren't awesome. But there's some things that it's more about us and wanting more time with them.
So strange transformation in the chat. We've gone from talking with Minds of Pandelver to Mimic Doors to doppelganger mimics to mimics of holding, and we have a mimic of holding in a barrel in your game, right?
Well, Shay is a mimic, but he is kind of a shapeshifter and a little bit more,
and has an extra dimensional space inside of him.
Yeah,
like literally, we all went inside.
A mimic of holding.
I don't know. He's whatever I want him to be at the time. It's
like, wasn't he like the whole basement or something?
It was like a 10 by 10 room. Was held hostage in.
Oh, in that case, not that guy. It's hardly a bag of holding worthy.
So he can transform into the story need if necessary.
He's more of a mimic of We'll have space of storage.
Portable
Storage
hole
space.
with teeth.
Yes. And he can choose to, eat what's inside or not.
Yeah, that's very.
Did we actually say roll call? Did we actually say do the roll call?
We kind of hinted at it. I don't think we.
You hinted at it. Dave agreed. Yes, we should do it, but you might not have known what we were going to do.
Read our freaking minds already. What's wrong with you guys?
Come on, don't you know us by now? I mean, how many of these have we done?
But for the new people, roll call.
We got Doug in Cleveland, Niagara Falls in the house with Rich. Circleville, Ohio, Geekin' Undies. Kansas City in the house with Adam. We got East Australia with Tesmic. Washington with Elfbait. Sweden with Patrick. Edmonton, Canada, Holtz. Sparkus Clark is in Rockland, Maine. Castlegar, Earth is Kyle. We got Joe from California. Lynn, Massachusetts with Comrade 2261. But he's thinking about changing his name. I think he should.
To Commodore.
But, yeah. Whenever I mess things up and I can't speak English, the language should just change to accommodate me.
I think he agrees.
We got Saskatoon from DM Steve. Ravens in the OZ. We got San Jose, California with Dan. Sean Murphy is in New York, New York. We've got Stationton in the house with Andrew. Silicon Valley with Voice of Man. Cameron is in Texas. House Springs, Missouri is Cobb. New Brunswick, Canada with Neko Sensei. Hey, if you're really a sensei, you should check out my buddy's Enter Shell In channel. They do Kung Fu and stuff. They're really good. We got Zero Flux in the house with Philly.
Just so you know,
hey, we know that guy.
Neko's cat. So maybe not. He might not be a real sensei.
Oh, yeah.
Sensei cat.
Whatever. So we got people weighing in from all over the place. I haven't even looked to see how many people are actually in the chat. I think it was 3.
We saw Jose, who was in Florida.
In Tampa, 46 people watching.
Oh, that's great.
Wilder Smith's in New York. So if you guys have questions, let them rip. Simon's in Montreal, Canada. So they're trickling in now. Anime kind of guy.
That I figured. Doug has something he's announcing coming up. Myself, editor Doug, and staff writer Nigel will be playing DDO online, the Mr. Ravenloft expansion. So when that comes out, we'll be playing on Twitch for a bit.
Speaking of Doug, the poll to vote on his title is now up. So if you want to go weigh in on what he should be called, you can do so over on Patreon.
Excellent.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, so I'm more excited to see what the write-ins are.
Oh, you did leave right.
I did.
Yes. All right.
I just assumed people would just comment the write-ins if there wasn't a spot.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I had to have the write-in.
Oh, Doug, yeah, of course we'll give you. You're allowed to overrule the internet. I agree.
What?
He wants to be able to. He reserves the right to overrule the results.
Well, hey, we've got a new Patreon goal. We revoke the right.
I don't think anything that I put up there as an option is something that he's going to have a problem with.
Oh, it's the other ones.
He'll end up with at best editor Mick Edic face or something.
I think my favorite is Grandmeister Doug.
Grandmeister.
Hmm. So where did you pick your names from? Did they come from someplace? Or did you make them up?
They came from the Patreon selection. I told people all right, give me your ideas. They submitted a whole bunch of stuff. I put it up there with a little bit of extra stuff from me, and then I put in one of the options is something boring like chief editor. Something else write it in the comments. We'll see what winds up happening, but we've got chief nerd editor, archivist. There's some good stuff.
I like nerd editor. That's pretty cool.
Doug is campaigning in the chat.
What is he going for?
Nerd editor.
Nerd editor.
Matt Nerdy, hey guys, how about the observation feat? Good stuff. It's just like a statement.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It's a fantastic feat.
It is one of the better ones.
I had a character that was very, very focused on that feat.
Oh, eyes.
Eyes, yeah.
Your cheater build.
He didn't cheat.
Cheater build.
He just broke Heather's game.
She should have just removed his eyes. That would fix it.
Yeah.
Our friend from Portugal, Jay, has showed up, so we can start now.
Okay, cool. All right, hi, welcome to Nerdarchy.
Foreigners by Nerds. I'm Nathan Nerdarchy. We didn't say that earlier, but
so yeah, I guess one of the things we were talking about earlier was like, should we maybe start including the live streams that we did in the from the previous week and the ones that are coming up that we know of, in the newsletter. And then I was like, should we maybe do the same, some of the same stuff with the videos as well? Like, do you guys want a spot where you can go and see like a sneak peek of what videos are coming up and things like that? Might be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, since, we technically have that compiled anyway.
Yeah, by Sunday when the newsletter goes out, I usually know what the 10 videos are for the week. So that's definitely something we could do and play with. But, a lot of that stuff too is like, what do you guys think? What are you guys looking for? We've been working over on the website. Nate's been hard at work over there.
Breaking all the things.
Well, and there's a little breakage. I think we've fixed everything now.
Hey, you can work harder than mine. Sometimes you create a collapse. That's all. That's what I'm going to say. And sometimes it's beautiful.
So we're not getting search traffic.
Things happen. A lot of things have happened. Oh, but some cool thing that's happening is Dan says he's playing for a bunch of young ladies coming up. So that sounds pretty cool. Always getting younger people into the hobby. Start them early. Get them hooked.
Like 3. Get them murdering things.
Role playing.
Yeah,
get them role playing.
Right.
Not into the convincing the 3-year-old to murder stuff.
Murder them dead. Toddlers are kind of like that anyway.
Well, you got to train that out of them as soon as possible.
Do you think Ivy would be convincing her son to do that by now?
Maybe. I know David when he was a toddler. He was all about take the head. He was like always wanted to take off someone's head. It was like the weirdest thing.
Wow.
They were sitting down and come to the toddler up to you, take a head and start pulling on your head. Maybe he watched Labyrinth and too early of an age or something. I don't know.
I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and the Dance Magic Dance thing was there, and my kids were glued, so that they now want to watch Labyrinth.
Yeah, they should. They're going to be doing a prequel for Dark Crystal. So, and I think they're supposed to do something with Labyrinth too. That would be super cool.
I heard there's a board game out now for it.
There is a board game out for it. I shared it on Facebook.
That's probably where I saw it.
Nerdarchy is Ted's main source of news.
No. Just like
you're like, no. I do not watch any news.
Zero news.
Adam Foisey, what do you think? What do you guys think of a Westmarch style D&D versus a normal game? Define normal.
Well, Westmarch is that like they're not really dealing with a ongoing campaign. It's just it's progression. I'm not really into that. Like that's like I'm much more. I care more about the actual story and uncovering and plot.
What's instead of what?
Like it's a hex crawl.
They do a hex crawl. Everything's random. Although I'm sure like stories and plot kind of like pops up as you go. I haven't really watched that much of West Marches to really analyze it.
I think the fun would be if everyone's into their characters, the interactions you'll get by how they deal with things unexpectedly. I think that's like where you get like the real gems of a situation.
But I can get those same things in a regular game as well, or in a typical plot game as well.
Yeah, well, I mean I haven't played West Marches, but
I've seen a couple of them, and Ryan watched a lot of it, and he would talk about it every so often. And
just not your style.
Not my style. And if it's your style, I'm not judging. It's just not for me.
Stop judging them. Judging them so hard.
I'm not judging.
Are you not judging them?
Not judging. That means you are judging, right?
Yeah. So Elfbait has a question. What is the weirdest location any of you have used in a game you ran? Since we're talking about what's normal.
I like doing things in pocket dimensions.
That chaos place where we were in the house, but we couldn't leave unless we wanted to like swim in chaos. That was pretty cool.
There was that. You also did the tea house, the tea room / body shop.
Oh man, that was the weirdest combo I've ever seen.
I was like, what can I do? What two things can I put together that had no business being
that
together?
was kind of maddening in a way.
I know. How about a tea house and someone that's selling demon body parts?
Yeah. Well, there was some wings too. I was checking out the angel wings. I was considering it for my elf. He was tempted. But some of us just went whole hog into it. I don't know how many arms and legs and wings.
Oh, he wound up with wings.
Dragonborn. The Dragonborn has.
Yeah, he bought wings and he bought a pair of arms.
Yeah.
I used those wings to fly out of our game forever.
Because after that, he stopped coming.
Yeah, that was intern Kyle. We haven't seen him in a while. He got a regular old factory job that's probably like crushing his soul right now, slowly but surely.
So part of me wants to say like, okay, how can I now use that character?
Well, it could either be a corrupted monstrosity. I mean, he's already there at the monstrosity part.
He's already a warlock of Narcitus.
Yeah. So he could just, too many demon body parts on makes a little person crazy who's already on the edge.
So I think like Inside of Monsters or something like that. I don't think I've done any really truly crazy locations.
Well, when we fought, it was in the Thanksgiving game where we went inside a monster in space and released a demon, and then had to escape the monster. I thought that was pretty cool.
I have an adventure planned for the kids when we eventually get around to playing. I know my nephews all have little to no experience with D&D. Well, David's got plenty now. I mean, he's been in my game for years. But Billy and Teddy, have not much. So they all play Minecraft. So I want to have them fall into the Minecraft world. And I have a whole bunch of these like cube-made creatures that my son has actually made for me using what are they called?
Cube stuff.
Yeah, cube stuff. But they're all they're made three-dimensional. They're made out of these little cubes, so they could easily be something in Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got standard-looking people falling into a Minecraft world where everything but themselves is in that block format, I think it'd be pretty interesting. And then when they go to fight the monsters, they're literally, I can put it on the battle map that they're cubular.
Totally cubular.
You don't want to make them change over to...
Yeah. So they're going to be the aliens and the...
Yes.
So Jay has a question. If Wizards of the Coast came to you and asked each of one of you to make an original player race, what would you do? No pressure.
Ask them how long I had before they needed to turn it in.
I would probably go with Bladewing.
Bladewing, is that one of the ones you guys did from?
It was a monster in Epic, but it could easily have been a player thing as well.
Well, it's a Patreon award as well.
Has it gone out, or is that in the current?
I'm pretty sure it's gone out.
Okay, so you've seen Bladewing to some degree or another if you've gotten our Patreon awards in the last couple of months.
I don't know. The thing that jumps into my head, I don't think it's going to be a good player race at all. It's my Displacer kin.
Yeah.
I've not made them yet, but they will happen someday. Well, actually, it'd probably end up being a Patreon award or something.
So would you say that they're more powerful than the Yontai Pureblood?
I think well, the Yante Pureblood aren't really a good player race either.
Well, that's why I'm saying where's the scale? Are they more powerful than that, and then it should be an absolute no, or would they like be on par with, and you could be like use this under your best judgment?
DM discretion advised.
Yeah, but I don't think I would ever put out something like that. Watts can get away with it because they're Watts. Like, I wouldn't want to like be like, all right, DMs, you probably aren't going to let this in your game. But,
but here it is anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have a lesser version, so that as opposed to being able to be displaced, all the time or a portion of the time, like they could get access to the displacement spell as per, like a tiefling progression, give them lesser versions thereof, as it can scale.
That is definitely a possibility.
My race has technically been already out in some form or another in D&D. The shard mines. I wrote the shard mines for 5e. I really liked my take on it, and it wasn't in 5e yet. And I think that's a 4e race, right? And I never played 4th edition, so I've only heard through other people playing.
They might have come out in like the tail end of 3rd, but I know they definitely had a big presence in 4th.
That and the wildlings, and they did introduce some other like really cool races in 4th.
But if you wanted to go, if you wanted to give me a second option, then I'd go whole hog, and I'd go with the Sariels or the Dinokin or however you want to call them. And I actually did 2 different blog posts on them years ago.
Yeah, I made a race of natural lycanthropes that are based off of the dinosaurs back in the day during our old campaign.
Jeez, yeah.
I think you guys ended up with like a paladin and henchman.
Oh, or Foxkin. I'd like to do a Foxkin. I think that'd be cool.
The Kitsune?
Yeah. They're not in the 5th.
They're not in 5th. They're not.
I don't remember where they're in. Yeah.
Pathfinder. They're all over Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Fairies everywhere.
Well, I think a whole lycanthrope kind of thing would be cool.
Lycanthrope or anamorphic?
Like people animals of different varieties, like all
Anthropomorphic animals.
Sure, we can go with that.
Well, I guess the real difference is, do you want them to shape shift or not?
I don't really care about that factor necessarily.
That's what it comes down to.
Or maybe it's something like they can take like no magic feat. They can take a feat that allows them to.
Maybe Nerdarchy Ted can share his kitsune with us someday. Didn't you did one, right?
No, I started it, and I have a resource that I was trying to get information out of, and our schedules have not lined up. So I'm trying to grab more information from her, because I'm going to do it. I want to do it right, and I don't personally have a lot of knowledge on.
Aren't you dying to know what his secret source is now?
Yeah, and you could ask me for some info. We can talk about it at some time.
That's one of the girls I used to dance with.
Oh, okay.
Beth and Danette.
Fox people. She's secretly a fox person.
Not secretly a fox person.
You never know.
She's a
Is she a foxy lady?
She's a lesser furry.
She's a foxy lady.
Oh my god.
She likes the ears and tails. Beyond that, that's about it.
Everyone's got their limit.
Like anime, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the someone asked? I can't find it. Skylander RPG stuff. I think somebody. Talked about that.
Scott and I had done a video.
They were asking. That's what they were asking about.
That was kind of like a stream of consciousness thing. Like, hey, we're just going to put this idea out here and think about it.
Well, it was designed that we were going to make it happen, and it never got off the ground, and things happened.
Okay, so no, it hasn't gone farther than the concept video.
Yeah,
and Scott's not with us currently, so.
Adam Fuzzy, I'd love to have a Nerdarchy Discord server we can hang out in. I just finally downloaded Discord, and there's other Discords out there that I don't even know how to find them.
It makes you feel better. I don't even know what Discord is. So.
Yeah, it's a talk to speak app and chat application thing.
Yeah, I'm signed up for Discord right now, not as Nerdarchy, just on my own account, and I get an overwhelming amount of messages to interact with, and I don't have to pay attention to them. So I feel if I got an overwhelming amount of messages and I had to deal with them because they were directed towards me or towards Nerdarchy in general, that'd be kind of crazy. So I don't know if we can venture out into Discord at this time.
Well, yeah. So my buddy Larry's like, you need to do a Slack channel. I'm like, I don't know. There's always so much going on already.
We need to divide each one of us into 3, and then divide us 3 more times,
And then maybe.
and then maybe.
Let's see. Lupinus. We use Discord in combination with Roll20. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's like Skype for gaming for nerds. I'm vaguely aware of what it is. I'm just not very good at using it. I look at it and go, I'm intimidated. I don't know if they wanted us to make one or if someone said they did make one, but for some reason I think there's a Saber Dice Discord channel somewhere. But I'm not entirely sure. If there is, show me how to get to it. I was kind of interested in checking that out. Elfbait. Buddy once made a race of dragon centaurs that were pretty cool. Wizards of the Coast did one too.
Dragatars.
Yeah, was it Dragatar?
Dragatar.
I thought it maybe was a more original name, but I guess not. Yeah. Dragatar. Yeah, but I don't really. But they're not really a PCable race.
Well, I mean, once you start getting into the large size category, it creates problems. Like I'd love to see a Laggy. I'd love to see Wemek, however you want to pronounce it. Those were, favorites of mine back in the Humanoid Handbook from 2nd edition, which I thought was right here, and sadly I don't see it. But yeah, it was my favorite book from 2nd.
What do you think about the new D&D Beyond terms of usability? Oh, you know what? I don't know. Doug Vahovic, love it 100%. I actually haven't looked at the terms of usability. So I'm not entirely sure what those terms are. I have to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Now we have to end the stream immediately and go find out.
Since we are using,
we're all going to jail.
I'm digging the ease of use of it.
I think it means usability, not like terms of service. When you read it, I heard like terms of service.
Terms of usability. Beyond
and the terms.
Like, oh yeah, we like it. We dig it. Like we use it. We use it in a lot of different ways. So I use it for my games online. It's just easier to have other windows open and I can search things real quick if I need them. I enjoy that aspect of it. And actually from this like weird area that I don't think was intended, Nerdarchy has found it really useful. Like we're doing a video on something and we need to research something. We can go through our books, or we can just bring up D&D Beyond and go through there.
Yeah.
So functions. Yeah, so it's really good, and it seems like it's only going to get better. So I like it.
Yeah, I totally give it a thumbs up. Whether you're looking for magic items, spells, monsters, the advanced features really allow you to streamline. I want specifically this. All right, there you go. I'm hoping to see what kind of homebrew stuff winds up getting general release, so I can check out what other people are doing as well. So I'm excited about that as well.
Well, I mean, Adam, there's a bunch of features you can use in there for free if you want to, and I understand not wanting to like buy the material again, but all these resellers are like that. It's because they have to pay for the license and they have to pay for the software and they have to pay for development. So obviously they have to charge for it. Wizards of the Coast is not associated with D&D Beyond, even though they do have a partnership of sorts. So, the money has to come from somewhere, as always.
Yeah, and it's not like the books are just searchable PDFs or something like that. There's like an interconnected database of things. So you can, for spells, for example, you can look at all different types of spells under all these different types of filters and categories. So when you're making, I want to make an evoker. Well, I want to know what do I actually have available to me as evoker. You can select that specifically if you want to do that kind of thing, or necromancer, or anything like that. And you can also search levels, type of spell, type of damage, all kinds of stuff. There's like keywords, 20 choices.
So, you want how to choose. You want to do things that cause a stun or a slow effect. Sure, there's ways to go and know it.
Yeah, it's also nice for when you're thinking about character concepts, and you want to be like, I need these 3 stun effects. Can I get them from spells, or do I have to be like a monk to be stunning in combat?
To be stunning in combat, you just need
an
awesome charisma.
Yes.
How much is D&D Beyond going to cost? $1 million.
I'm not actually current on the prices.
It's free unless you want access to more stuff. And then there's like a $4 subscription and like a $6 subscription.
I thought it was 3 and 6.
Something like that. Yeah, it might be 3 and 6. And then, and then you have to you actually have to purchase the actual books through them as well. I think they're comparative to buying them on Amazon. So depending where you're at, like for some people, it may actually make more sense to buy that stuff from D&D Beyond. Like, I don't know how hard it is to get the books in Portugal and how expensive it is and as far as that goes, and it might be more economical.
And we've had people who have talked about the high costs of getting it outside the U.S. So this could definitely be a more economical way. And beyond the database, if you purchase the book, you still get access to the full material. It's there, but you have the database as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like it. I'm curious to see what they do in the future. Since we stream stuff like the Twitch integration that they're talking about, that may be really cool. That may actually get us to
move to Twitch,
to move more stuff to Twitch. Yeah, for the integration, because that's kind of cool. They're talking about being able to mouse over the actual video screen and get information.
Right.
Great. And as a streamer, that frees up valuable real estate on your screen as well. Where like a lot of times streamers will put in that rotating box of stats for the different characters. Well, you don't need that anymore.
You just reminded me of a very important thing I need to do when I get home. I have like 5 or 6 computer monitors, and valuable real estate is it. I was recording the game that I was running for the Holds of Noordain, and I was like, I can't fit it. I can't record and look at what I needed to look at. It's like I need my second screen. So
17 screens.
Yes, it's gonna get an upgrade tonight when I go home.
Comrade. Well, guys, getting ready for my bowling league. Stay nerdy.
Enjoy.
Well, guess what? Actually, that reminds us. It's 3:01. Somewhere is like here. So we were up on the hour. As always, guys, thanks for hanging out. We really do appreciate it. It's cool for you guys to spend your Saturday afternoon, morning, evening, whatever day it is for you.
Whatever time of day it is.
Yeah, wherever you are in the TARDIS of your choosing. But until next time, guys,
stay nerdy.